Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rockshire Gaming. My name is Eric. CMON, come on, however you want to say it, recently released this past weekend from whenever I'm recording this, the FAQ version 1.0 for Masters of the Universe, the board game Clash for Eternia. So I thought, why not take a look and see what they changed in the game, if anything. I know a big portion of it is, the FAQ essentially, but since it's FAQ version 1.0. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what changes, additions, clarifications, and whatnot they may or may not have made to this game. All right, so as always, since we do look at a Kickstarter game, we are on the homepage for Masters of the Universe, the board game Clash for Eternia from CMON, CMON, however you want to say it, on the Kickstarter main page. Normally, I would click over to another tab for the FAQ, but we're just kind of concentrating on the FAQ update, which is update number 115. The channel wasn't around when this game was live on Kickstarter. That's why there's no update videos, and this isn't really an update video for the Kickstarter. This is more of an update video for the game itself. So let's go ahead and kind of read through the update and see what is going on with this. So FAQ release by the power of Graysol. We hope everyone's doing well. Since Clash for Eternia's fulfillment, we've been diligently answering and gathering your most commonly asked game questions. We've also noted and prepared an errata. I think that's how you say that word. It's one of those words that I've heard or read multiple times, never actually heard it, so it's weird. Which include AI card and power, AI rules activation, King Grayskull player card, hero playing card, Too Bad, Badra player card, Tongue Lasher 4-piece, skill cards, and the Mantisaur mount card. All these have been compiled and put together into a single FAQ and errata document, which can be accessed here, clicking on this link. We'll click on that in a minute. But these cover all the major topics since release. Of course, we will continue to answer and collect more feedback from the community and update the FAQ where necessary. And if you haven't, you can also find alternate He-Man and Skeletor controller cards here. Both of these files, along with the digital rulebook, can also be accessed with the Clash for Eternia product page on our website here. So that was essentially the update. You can go down farther and see various comments about this. I don't know if I agree with a lot of the comments on there and some of the stuff, and I don't want to read through them and dwell on them at all. But let's go ahead and we will go over one tab and take a look at the FAQ. So this is the FAQ document. It is 6 pages with, I think, 3 of the pages dedicated to the FAQ itself. The back half of it is going over the cards that they changed in some way. Some of them were little tweaks. Some of them were changing one symbol to another symbol. One of them was just changing a background. So if you really need that change, you can. But let's kind of go over, again, what they changed. And I did, just in case, pull out every scenario book, rule book, whatever, for the game, just in case we wanted to take a look and see what actually did change and what the original thing was. So again, they're going over basically different conditions. Right here, we've got stuff for minions, the objectives, mounts, for example, KO, under KO, are condition tokens removed when a model is KO'd. Yes. So yes, dazed and other conditions are removed when a model is KO'd. He-Man uses throw and KOs the model with the initial roll. Does he still complete the subsequent attack? Yes. So these are the kind of things that it was answering. I know this document was something that people had been wanting for months. This game has been out for quite a while, at least in backers' hands. I actually, in some retail locations, it was actually out before it had gotten to backers. That's a whole different thing. I may or may not have mentioned that in certain videos, sprinkled here and there before, and even probably the unboxing videos that we did. We did a series of unboxings. Haven't done any kind of gameplay series on it. I would like to do something like that in the future, kind of go through the different scenarios for the game, show off that model of Castle Grayskull once again, to do the Grayskull assault modes and stuff like that. But anyway, so this document has been something that people have been wanting for a while, because in all honesty, the rule book did leave a little bit leave a little bit to be desired. There were quite a few things in the main rule book that even me playing wasn't too clear. I think one of the things in here, even right here under power, I don't know if you can see my stuff here, but under power where it says how do controller characters gain power during their character activation during the activation phase. For some reason, even for me, that wasn't even clear in the original rulebook. So like because I couldn't figure out where power was coming from. I kind of knew they were getting power from the characters activations. I know they were getting power from um the whenever the heroes or the non-controller characters, the player characters were using their abilities, they would give power to the controller characters. But then where is the controller, where are those powers going? Were they going to the characters themselves? Were they going to that to the basically the controller pool for the what was it, the different skill cards the controller got? So it was slightly confusing with that. So this will hopefully go through and um, give a little bit of idea, give a little bit of clarity to something. Even some things that, even to me, kind of looking through this document, it's like, why did they put that in there? But at the same time, I had my own questions that seemingly got answered in some of this stuff. Like right here, what happens when all 8 minions are on the battlefield and another is to be spawned? It says no further minions can be spawned once all minions are on the field. That to me would just be something that would make sense, only because of the fact that I don't have any more essentially tokens to put on the board. I don't have any figures to put on the board. So it would stand to reason that, yes, they would be gone. I know some games have rules. I think we haven't aired it yet as of me recording this, but we played a game of Zombicide Undead or Alive where basically we did run out of models for some of the zombie types, and it basically gave extra activations and whatnot to the abominations. So I know some games do have that effect. This game does not have for the minions anything extra happening. They don't activate extra, anything like that. So there is that. Mounts. What do I replace when a skill card asks me to replace a model for a mounted model? Only the model is replaced. So, um, yeah, that's so stuff like that that is in there. How do mounted models move? How do mounted models interact with terrain? How does escape damage work for mounted models? Like I said, I could go over every one of these questions, but I know it would probably be a long video of me essentially just reading the rule book. So that's one of the reasons why I also question making this video. But so anyway, so here's some stuff on skills. We've got the rules for spawning, where the models actually spawn on the board, if the spawn zones are taken up for some reason. More stuff on power, stuff on AI, how many cards are drawn during AI strategy activation. Only one card should be drawn. I think in my test games that we were playing, I did actually draw 2 AI cards from there, so apparently you only do the one card. Stuff on terrain. How does movement penalty onto terrain work? How does line of sight work with rocks? So there's all these explanations. I know somebody in the comments did mention for the line of sight with the rocks that they kind of wanted some pictures that might be good in here. This is just a big giant block of text, and some people are more visual than others, so there is that. It says when a model is creating terrain like Merman's Water, what happens when all available tokens are on the field? When all terrain is on the field and more to be created, the player may choose to move an existing token onto a new space. There you go. Kind of a difference between the minion model rule. Let's see, and then all this FAQ is based around the core rulebook only, and then we get to Assault on Castle Grayskull. Are the 2 front spawn points atop Castle Grayskull considered adjacent to the 2 front spaces to the drawbridge? No, they're not. So there's just a little bit of spatial awareness there, so stuff like that. And then stuff here on Wrath of Snake Mountain. 2 different things there concerning the scenarios specifically in that book. I think the only expansion that didn't get any changes or anything like this, honestly, because you got a whole bunch of FAQ stuff around the main core rulebook. You've got scenario stuff between Assault on Castle Grayskull, Wrath of Snake Mountain. We're getting ready to get to the errata itself for the main game for a scenario and the box of power. And we'll see some cards for different boxes. I think the only box that came out unscathed was the Shira Princess of Power box. Princess of Power? Nope, and the Great Rebellion. That's what it was called. That's the only box in this whole set with gameplay material, not counting like terrain packs and stuff like that, was the only box that didn't get touched. So if we go to the actual errata here, so in the scenario book, let's get the scenario book out. The floor is lava. Let's take a look at that one. And the floor is lava. Going to sing my little song. Where is the floor is lava? Again, I haven't gone through all these, so I am, there we go. So trying to find which is a little bit difficult. The floor is lava special rule should state, the side with the most characters adjacent to different objectives gains 2 victory points. Let's see, what did it say in the original? In the original special rule, at the end of every round, the side with the most characters adjacent to objectives gains 2 victory points. This says the side with the most characters adjacent to different objectives gains 2 victory points. So where are the objectives at? There are 5 different objectives on the map here. I'm not going to show it or anything like that, but 5 different objectives on the map. So basically, the side with the most characters adjacent to different objectives gains 2 victory points. So yeah, there's that. So instead of just saying objectives, they all have to be different objectives. So instead of it being the amount of characters, if I'm reading this correctly, people can tell me if I'm wrong or not. And again, this is why I don't know if I should even be doing this. It says right here, the side with the most characters adjacent to objectives gains 2 victory points. So in this one, it's basically the amount of characters adjacent to an objective. If you have more of your characters adjacent to objectives in general, you gain the 2 victory points. So you can have 3 characters on one objective, and the other side could have 2 characters on one on each objective. And the way these rules are written, that's the 3 character one would win. Whereas with this one, they all have to be on different objectives. So yeah, that's basically how that goes. And then box of power, there are 322 cards, not 323 cards. There's that. So if you want to know how many cards were in your box of power, that's how many. Scenario book. Skeletor Everywhere is an AI scenario. That was on the first 2 pages. So Skeletor Everywhere in the original book just says Controller Evil Warriors. Doesn't say anything about it being an AI scenario. And He-Man Everywhere is not an AI scenario, whereas in the original rulebook, it did say it was an AI scenario. So that is that. Next, after that, so after we get through the 3 pages of FAQ, again, I'm not going to go through all the FAQ stuff. This video would be an hour long, and no one wants to hear me read the rules for an hour. I'll try to link this or whatnot in the description or whatever, so you can look at it yourselves. But right here on page 4, it says list of printable cards, and there's 10 different cards. Now, before I go into the cards, I know some people in the comments, at least on the Kickstarter page, I didn't see anything on the I didn't look and see anything on the Facebook or the main Facebook group for it about this, but there's a lot of people who really are wanting CMON to send them cards, all the backers cards for replacement. On one hand, yes, it would be a logistical issue for them to just print off essentially 10 new cards. I don't even think some of them are would be 10 cards. I think it's 8 cards actually, and we'll take a look at why in a minute. But it's not like they're all the same size. They're all different sizes, so it would just be an issue for them to do that. With that said, I personally, I know of 2 different games I own where the either during the Kickstarter, like from the Kickstarter, the company have replaced the cards. I know Renegade was one whenever, what was it? They shipped the original Kickstarter, and all the White Ranger cards from the Kickstarter box didn't have the shields on the bottom right hand corner of the card. The defense shields, because in that game, when you get hit, you draw a card. You draw a card from your deck, and for every damage, you know, have shields on the bottom of the card that correspond to it. I'm explaining it wrong, but it's actually a pretty cool system. The White Ranger cards had no shields whatsoever, so they needed to reprint all those, and they took the moment at that point to kind of go through and change, basically update, um, basically do like a patch update to the original game. And since then, they have actually in certain other products sent out alternate cards to replace the originals if they realized that something was too overpowered, or they realized there was a mistake, or in the case of I think it was in one of the villain packs that had Astronema, they had her the text on her card said something completely different. It was from another card. It was either Astronema's card had Elsa's information on it, or Elsa's card had Astronema's information. I don't know. I got the replacement card. It's in my stuff. Not gonna worry about it. So anyway, so I do know, and the other one was Dice Hospital from. So the first one was Power Rangers from Renegade Games. The other one was Dice Hospital from Alley Cat Games, where they basically realized they printed everything on the wrong color of card stock for their cards, and sent out replacement cards to all the backers for that. So I know studios have done that, but that again was with bigger amounts of cards. So again, I don't know if with the few cards that they did change, what they're going to do with that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the cards here. So from the box of power, it was Hero, King Grayskull, and Too Bad Badra cards. So got the cards right here, still unsleeved. Hero. Let's see here. Hero, it looks like they added an ability to his, if I'm looking at the right card. So he had Sword of Power. That looks like it's the exact same attack. And Magic Scepter. Let's see. So that's what they did. So Magic Scepter by itself is, like, let's see if I can get my camera to show it here. There's Hero, the original card, and then the printed card, the alternate card. So Sword of Power is the exact same. They basically took Magic Scepter, just made it the 4 range attack, and then added on the new card Cosmic Shield, which has the defense boost aspect of it. So after the attack, push the attacker up to 2 spaces, they become dazed. After the attack, push the attacker up 2 spaces, they become dazed. So basically, they split the one attack, into 2 attacks. King Grayskull, Power Axe. I'm going to use Defense Boost. That looks like it is the exact same. Oh, I'm dumb. So they took the... I don't know if you can see, it's not zooming in here, but they took on King Grayskull. Charge looks like it has 2 power to use charge, and then the action King Grayskull performs 1 move action. Then so it looks like it would take up 3 power just to do the main action. So yeah, they took off the 2 power cost to use charge as initial stuff there. So then Too Bad has, let's see here, Shield Bash is the same. Be wounded by this attack, become dazed, and attack boost, move up to 2 spaces before performing this attack. So they basically, for the attack boost, added a power to that wasn't on the original card. So there is that. And then as we move on, so let's go ahead and take a look at what is different between Mantisaur and Mantisaur. It took me a minute to realize what the problem is. This is the original, by the way, envelope, clear envelope they had for Mantisaur. But the main problem is with this one is that in the original card, they used the Snakeman background for Mantisaur, whereas this one uses the same one that the Evil Horde uses. So there was no real change to that. Let's see, the AI rules. Whoa. AI rules card, specifically that side. Each time the player use, spend, or in any way lose power, it goes to the AI controller. Pull track divide AR token on the HP track. That's still the same. Looks like there is a... No, that's what it was. So the second part of this, if you can read it, is the AI strategy activation has a special deck of cards to draw from. When the strategy activation is flipped, perform the following steps in order. 1. Activate all minions. There you go. 2. Flip and resolve one AI strategy activation card. Cool. 3. Flip and resolve a second AI strategy activation card. That is what's on here. I think... Let me actually check it here. So this is one of those instances where the card that they gave didn't match the rule book. In the rule book itself, AI strategy activation, which is what this is talking about, when a strategy card is flipped for the controller, flip one strategy activation AI card. Just like AI characters, this card will list various actions the controller will attempt to perform based on the amount of power they have available. The controller only resolves one action during their activation. This is done exactly like a character activation AI, attempting the first listed action, then proceeding down the list until one can be performed. So like I said, if you were following the rule book with this, then you were only doing one anyway. Whereas if you were following the original AI strategy activation, then you would have flipped a second card. And I remember going through the cards pretty fast. Now, with that said, even the character activations, you only flip one character activation card for the AI. You go through the list and see what basically the first thing on the list that you can do. If like you can't do the first one, you go to the second one. If you can't do the second one, you go whatever. Once you do it the first time, then you go through and do it a second time. Conditions may have changed where you can actually do the first thing on there, but you never draw a second card. So this way, you're not actually going through all the cards and everything, and you're only doing one strategy activation anyway, using the rules for this particular card. So next, we're going to go to the Empower card, which again I have right here under strategy activation. It says this card remains in play until the next AI. Right there, I already have something different. So this card, it says on the new card, this card remains in play until the next AI strategy activation. The old card was until the next controller activation. Do not reshuffle the controller deck until the start of the next AI strategy activation. I was actually getting confused. I actually had to make sure that this said AI on the bottom of it. But yes, so the card remains in play until the next AI strategy activation. There, do not shuffle the controller deck until the start of the next AI strategy activation. Both instances of AI strategy activation on that card were controller activation on this card. The controller pays 2 damage. While this card is in play, all AI characters attack gains +1 die. Alright, so yeah, so the wording was the main thing that was changed on here. So basically removing the two instances of saying controller activation on this card and changing it to AI strategy activation on the new card. Now, for the rest of it, all of the last 4 cards are for Tongue Lasher. Both sides of his green card, the one side of his yellow card, and the other side of his red card. The only difference, I believe the wording is still the same. The only difference is that all those sword symbols that you see here on the original card are all ranged. So they basically turn all of Tongue Lasher specials into, or special moves on here, from ranged attacks into melee attacks. That's going to be the only thing that is different there. So yeah, that is everything that was in these documents for the FAQ number 1.0 for Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia, the board game from CMON Games. So yeah, in this video, I don't know how long this is. I've been recording for 31 minutes, but I know there was a lot of stuff I cut at the beginning. You don't need to know that, but that's that. But yeah, so I will try to put a link down below to this. Oh, the other thing they mentioned on there, those alternate controller cards are right here. Where do I? Yeah, got them both right here. Yeah, they basically took on these. I don't remember when these were posted. These were posted a while ago. If you look at both of these cards, the He-Man's ability right here and Skeletor's ability down here. So in this case, I have the power and Master of Evil were replaced by Inspiring Presence and Get Them My Minions. Basically, both of them being alternate cards is what they said for that, so that way they can have more um, control and whatnot over the minions that they control. It says specifically Eternian soldiers. I'm sure you can use them potentially for the mini He-Man and the mini Skeletor. So there is that. Even their empowered skills are instead of He-Man getting his heal, he gets minions adjacent to He-Man roll +1 attack die. Skeletor gets says it used to be each time any character is KO, you may draw one strategy card. His empower is each time hover robot minions activate within 2 spaces of Skeletor, push them 1 space. So that is everything they mentioned in this update. So going back here and then going here, this is the page for He-Man on the CMON website. And if you're not able for some reason to see the can't even think of it, Kickstarter updates, if you didn't back it on Kickstarter and you somehow got all the stuff later but you can't see those updates, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. You should be able to. But here are the links to the 1.0 FAQ, the alternate controller cards, and the rulebook update. They updated the rulebook. When did they update the rulebook? Load the rulebook and find out. Here is the updated rulebook. I don't know what they would have changed in here. I'm not going to go through it. We all thought I was ending the video. No. It says updated. I don't know when it doesn't say on here. I don't know when they updated the rulebook. And let's see. It just says on the Kickstarter page, the digital rulebook can also be accessed on here. So I don't know when they decided to update the rulebook. You can, if you want to, print it out, or you can just print out the FAQ and put it with your stuff. If you have any questions, not like stuff's hidden in there, but you can get, luckily everything is topic, skill, spawning, all that stuff. So you have a question about a certain thing, you just look it up real quick, kind of glance at the questions, see if it answers something you have a question for yourself. But that is everything presented in update 115 of Masters of the Universe FAQ release update for Masters of the Universe, Clash for Eternia, the board game, all that stuff. I'm trying to end the video. Don't know how I'm going to get there. But if you guys enjoyed this FAQ update video, please leave a like down below. Hit the notification bell to find out when we are putting out videos. And like I said, if we do any gameplay of this, I was most of it was timing, but I was kind of also waiting because I knew this FAQ was coming out. So I just want to make sure that the rules were better defined in a way before fully more diving into the game than I already had. So like I said, if you're interested in seeing some of the gameplay for this video, for this game on the channel, let us know down below, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.